Obsession drives some women to unspeakable acts, as it did in Malvern, Kansas, in December 2004. 36-year-old Lisa Montgomery arrives home with a new baby. Her husband, Kevin, is thrilled.
Oh my God.
Hey, Lisa, she has your nose, don't you think, Nancy?
Yeah.
But there's something wrong with this happy family picture. The memory haunts Lisa's first husband, Carl Bowman.
The images that were in your head are horrible. The idea of what happened was, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, it still affects me. And I was allowed to see evidence and pictures and stuff, and it's terrible.
200 miles away in Missouri, a young woman has been savagely murdered. This smiling new mother is the killer.
Who would cut a baby out of a pregnant woman's stomach and leave the woman to die?
A few months earlier, excited mother-to-be Lisa Montgomery is preparing for a new arrival.
She begins to buy diapers. She begins to buy baby items.
I made some tea. Would you like some?
Oh, no thanks, Nancy, I'm fine.
She tells the town, her husband, her children, everyone around her that she's pregnant.
But what even her husband doesn't realize
How far along are you?
I'm in my third trimester.
is this baby won't be coming. Lisa's pregnancy is a lie.
You know, when I was pregnant, I was out here. You know,
She lied through her childhood,
Here's my ultrasound.
through her teen years, through her adult life.
Okay. I didn't mean anything.
And one of the lies she perpetrated most often was, I'm pregnant. Lisa would say, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, I'm pregnant, but the baby would never come. And then would come another lie. I miscarried.
Crime writer M. William Phelps discovered that Lisa Montgomery is an expert in faking pregnancies.
She begins to wear baggy clothes. She begins to make doctor's appointments, fake doctor's appointments. She begins to swallow air when she's around people to extend her stomach. She asks people, feel my stomach, and tightens it up. It's nice and hard. She begins to do all these things, knowing that when the 9th month comes, she's not going to have a baby.
Lisa had 4 children in her first marriage, but none with new husband Kevin. All because of another big lie.
Can I feel?
It was impossible for Lisa Montgomery to have another child.
I hope it's a girl. I really want a sister.
Her tubes were not tied, her tubes were burned, cauterized,
As long as it's healthy.
which is an irreversible process.
Did you feel that?
Yeah. Yeah.
How could a husband sleep next to his wife for 9 months, and not know that she's not pregnant? How could he look at her when she gets out of the shower and not realize she's not pregnant? Didn't he question any of the doctor's appointments? Didn't he go with her to any of the doctor appointments? The answer is no. Lisa Montgomery manipulated this guy to believe that she was pregnant.
After her due date, Lisa's lies will be exposed to the world. But she has a plan. When she befriends Bobby Joe Stinnett online, a terrible idea takes hold.
The one thing she notices about Bobby Joe is that Bobby Joe is pregnant.
I think she looked at it as Bobby Joe being an incubator.
For Lisa Montgomery, faking pregnancy has become a dangerous obsession.
She's lying to everybody about being pregnant. She's lying to her kids. She's lying to her husband. She's lying to the town.
Now that she's met pregnant dog breeder Bobby Joe Stinnett, the need to cover up her lies will drive her to do the unthinkable.
Lisa Montgomery is communicating with Bobby Joe Stinnett online as a woman named Darlene Fisher, a dog lover, someone who enjoys these types of dogs that Bobby Joe raises. Darlene Fisher, AKA Lisa Montgomery, makes a date with Bobby Joe to look at some puppies. Inside Lisa's car, she has a knife, a rope, and a home birthing kit.
Bobby Joe, hi.
Darlene,
Nice to
hi.
meet you.
Come on in.
Wow, you look great. You're about to pop.
Well, like you.
In Skidmore, Missouri, unsuspecting Bobby Joe Stinnett opens the door to a monster.
Well, come on in. Would you like a cup of tea?
Oh no, I want to see those dogs, please.
I'll put your bag down and come this way.
Lisa Montgomery looks at the puppy, asks Bobby Joe to bend down, open the cage, pick up the puppy. She took out the rope, put it around the neck, choked her out.
Lisa is ready to steal Bobby Joe's baby.
Bobby Joe woke up. She was just knocked out. Not only is she struggling to keep herself alive, but now she's fighting for her baby.
Bobby Joe dies a violent death. Her killer will now try to deliver her baby by cesarean section.
One of the things that Lisa Montgomery did was watch a video on how to do a cesarean section. So there's evidence there that she tried to understand what she was about to do.
In order for this child to survive after the amateur cesarean section, the child would have had to have been at the end of the 8th month or the beginning of the 9th month. The child has to be removed from the womb, the airway has to be cleared, the respirations have to be stimulated, and the cord has to be cut.
the four-time mother knew just what to do. She has her baby.
This child was very lucky to have survived.
What seems like an act of madness is the bloody work of a calculating killer.
Who would cut a baby out of a pregnant woman's stomach and leave the woman to die? Only a crazy person would do that. However, in this case, this crime was premeditated and well planned. Lisa is not crazy.
Lisa's crime has been building since her childhood.
She began to become an expert at lying. Pathological lying, sure, but more so lying to people in order to, get them to do the things she wanted done.
But those lies would backfire.
Lisa Montgomery's claim is that one of her stepfathers sexually abused her. She complained about being sexually abused, but no one would listen to her. Nobody believed her.
It would be unusual for a little girl who was subjected to a violent, drunken father who sexually abused her to not have some kind of problems in adulthood. For Lisa, I believe those unresolved problems resulted in her need to get attention through phony pregnancies.
One of the first to the crime scene is Sheriff Ben Espy.
There was blood all over the entire room, and it looked like her stomach had exploded. The paramedic hollered at me and said, "You need to get in here. Here is the umbilical cord. It has been cut. There's a baby. You guys need to find a baby."
So the case turns very quickly from a homicide, brutal, graphic homicide, to a missing persons case.
The hunt is on for the missing newborn. An entire nation is placed on alert.
Meanwhile, Lisa Montgomery, Kevin, her husband, they get up in the morning. They take the baby down to the local diner. They show off the baby. They're just one happy family cruising around town with their new baby.
Well, guys, she's beautiful. Thank you. Go to the nursery.
Lisa's new motherhood won't last long. The plundered body of Bobby Joe Stinnett gives up vital clues.
There was some hair in Bobby Joe's hand, clenched in her fist. And that hair was taken and kept for DNA evidence, which did end up being Lisa Montgomery's hair.
Lisa's deep-seated need to get a baby overrode her planning. She planned out how to get the baby. She did not plan out how to get away with the crime.
Lisa Montgomery is found guilty of murder and sentenced to death. She is one of only 3 women on death row.
I really believe that Lisa Montgomery deserves the death sentence. The brutality of this, going into this young lady's home and cutting the child out, if anybody deserves it, she does.
It wasn't done because she wanted that baby. That was not the point of it. The point of it was to cover up her lies.
If there's one positive aspect to draw from this case, it's that the baby was returned to its father. And Zeb Stennett has that child in his arms today. And he can raise that baby as Bobby Joe would have wanted.
For some women, a fatal obsession becomes one man. A man they will kill to keep. It happened in the city of Perth, Western Australia, in 1986.
Human life meant nothing to these two people.
Former Detective Paul Ferguson remembers a frightening night. A female serial killer and her partner lead him to an isolated Australian forest and proudly reveal 4 shallow graves.
Vince shifted some dirt, and when he shifted the dirt, there was the flesh of the first girl.
One disturbing moment stands out in his memory.
She pointed to the gravesite and then spat on the gravesite. Disgusted. Absolutely disgusted.
Few will forget an encounter with the killer, Catherine Burney.
I'll tell you, Catherine is evil.
Several months earlier, 35-year-old Catherine is living a normal life as a wife and mother. But ex-lover David Burney wants to rekindle their romance.
She'd been seeing Bernie while she was still married, and after 12 years, she took off with him, and that's when David Burney led her down the path of homicide.
Come on, let's go on a spot.
Catherine suffers from dependent personality disorder. It leaves her helplessly obsessed with a dangerous man.
She believed that women were put on this earth to service and provide for men.
Catherine's not the first person to suffer from dependent personality disorder. The vast majority of people that do don't go on to become killers.
A psychiatrist told the court that he believed that it was the worst case of personality dependence he had ever seen in his life.
Researching Catherine's troubled life, writer Paul B. Kidd found a woman desperate to satisfy David's desires.
I had sex almost all day, every day, at every given opportunity. There was no stopping David Burney. He was a sexual athlete.
But David Burney needs more. His fantasies are dark and violent.
Catherine would do anything David wanted. She didn't want to risk anything to displeasure him or lose him. And if his appetite extended to sex with other women, even captive sex slaves, that was fine with her.
Hi. Hello, I'm here for some Thai.
When 22-year-old Mary Nielsen calls on the Burneys,
G'day, love. How you going?
she steps straight into their terrifying new game.
young lady was dragged in at knife point, where she was chained and gagged and tied to the bed. David Burney raped her repeatedly while Catherine looked on, and they both got off on it. Catherine must have known then that the young lady, having seen their faces, the atrocities that had been committed to her, that she'd have to die. A pair of them made love on the strength of it.
They were parasites. They lived off each other. The more they were together, the longer they were together, the stronger they became. And the rest of the world was just there for them.
Their next victim was a 15-year-old hitchhiker. The girl had no hesitation into getting into the car with a man and a woman.
Okay, dear Mum and Dad, I'm all right. I'm taking a few days away from
This
you, and I'm
time,
staying with
Catherine
my
is
niece.
more than a spectator.
Oh, come on, let's just kill the bitch now.
No, back off. Just back off. Do it later. Just gotta write this.
Catherine's need to be involved was escalating with each attack. There probably was a component where she was being sexually stimulated also.
Please don't. Please.
She will do anything to please David Burney.
To prove her love to David Burney, she offered to murder the girl. David said, "I'd love to watch you murder her." So she did.
Catherine's fatal obsession will take her to the darkest parts of her lover's mind.
G'day, love. Here you go.
Catherine Burney is fatally obsessed with a serial killer. To prove her devotion,
Oh, we're gonna have fun.
she helps him live out his deadly fantasies.
She wanted to please him, but knowing that David was being turned on by this activity also, I think, stirred up a jealousy in her. And that's why she had no trouble destroying these women also.
In the midst of a brutal killing spree, Catherine and David Burney kidnap glamorous 31-year-old Nolene Patterson.
Cat! No!
Catherine knew immediately this one was going to be a problem. She was different. She was everything that Catherine wasn't. She had class.
No, we're beautiful now.
Yeah, no, we'll get rid of her in the morning, huh?
No, not in the morning, David, now.
No.
David did not want to kill her. Kept her alive for 3 days, kept putting it off. And this brought up intense feelings of jealousy.
David, look at me! Look at me! What? You get rid of her tonight. It's either me or it's her. No.
Catherine Burney was seething, absolutely seething with rage.
Okay, we'll
Get off the
rid of
bed,
her tomorrow
David,
morning.
get off the bed.
Okay, I want the bed, okay?
I want it dead. I want it out.
People that suffer from dependent personality disorder don't have a sense of self really at all.
Promise you. We'll get rid of it tomorrow.
They develop a feeling, a belief, they cannot live without the other person. And if that other person were to leave them, they themselves would die.
Put the knife in my hand. I'll kill her now, eh?
Long after they dispose of Nolene, Catherine's bitter jealousy lingers.
Sorry. I love Kath.
Kathy never mentioned Nolene Patterson's name once, just referred to her as the bitch.
David's next move will horrify even Catherine. As they bury victim number 4, 21-year-old Denise Brown, they discover that she is still alive.
Catherine urged David to stab her again and produced a bigger knife, which David used to stab her in the neck and chest.
It's really hard to kill someone when you've got a will to live. Even when you have been very injured by multiple blows, a person can still live.
As they covered her over, she sat bolt upright. She wasn't dead at all.
When she sat up in the grave, she was responding to sand being placed over her mouth or nose, obstructing her respirations. The most basic drive is to breathe. And even when your level of consciousness is altered, if there is sudden obstruction, you're going to do whatever you can to preserve your airway.
David Burney, seething with anger. I'll fix her this time.
His savagery shakes even Catherine's devotion.
Catherine became, I think, frightened and repulsed by David crushing the skull of a victim. Catherine started having doubts that she could go on with the killing.
I stayed the night at Sarah's and I forgot to call you.
5 days later, Catherine is home alone with their latest captive.
I'll be home tomorrow night.
This teenage girl is due to die.
Keep your mouth shut. Got it? I'll be back.
There was the knock on the front door. Catherine put the girl to one side.
Seeing her opportunity, the young lady, no clothes on, jumped straight through the window. Did Catherine Burney leave the bedroom window open on purpose? We'll never know. Was the axe murder too much for her? Was it her way of saying, I've had enough. This is the end of this.
Catherine forfeited any right to be a member of our community the day she murdered those girls.
Catherine and David Burney are found guilty of murder and sentenced to life in prison, never to see each other again.
In the courtroom, Catherine leaned forward and stroked the back of his hand, an act of devotion, caring, empathy, love. For most people, for me, what it represented was, don't forget me.
Some women kill out of a perverted love. Others murder under a deadly illusion. Southern California, 1967. The summer of love is in full swing. At a hazy hippie party, one man dominates the room.
We were all searching for something, and they were searching for something, and they apparently found it in him.
18-year-old Susan Atkins is drawn to the charismatic stranger playing guitar.
I think for Susan, Charlie was finally the man who saw how wonderful she really was. And together, they could do great things.
Susan is being seduced by Charles Manson.
Charles Manson, if nothing else, is a master manipulator of people. He ran into all these young people who were very naive and looking for something different than what their families and society could offer them. He knew that, and he used that to manipulate them.
At 32, Charles Manson has already spent half his life behind bars. Prison has taught him how to manipulate and how to con.
He played on people's weak points. He was con smart. He learned in prison how to play people, and he played on all these girls.
Teenage runaway Susan Atkins is searching for a better life.
Susan Atkins was probably the most troubled of the young women. She had been arrested, she had run away from home, and she really was kind of a discarded person. She was looking also for an answer in her life, and it came from Manson.
At Manson's trial, reporter Linda Deutsch saw another young woman who fell under his dark influence.
Patricia Krenwinkel was she was kind of a lost soul when Charlie Manson found her. She had had some drug problems, and as she would tell it, she met this magical man who played a guitar and who lured her into his spell.
She comes across a man who is an expert at manipulating women. She didn't stand a chance.
All those watchers, we don't need them. Tom isn't needed. See, everything's a play act. Everything's like a movie. I want you guys.
Charles Manson used a few things to influence and control the people that eventually became his family.
Tom isn't needed.
One of them was drugs. Another one was he fed into the part of their ego that needed someone to accept them and to guide them. The other thing he used was the permissive attitude at the time.
Manson uses mind control.
He's been in there too long.
He is rewiring his cult to commit a crime that will shock the world.
They had been so completely and thoroughly brainwashed by Manson that they did whatever he wanted them to do.
His followers must murder and show no mercy. Los Angeles, August 1969. On a hot summer's night, a bloody chapter in history is about to be written by Charles Manson.
The Manson murders were the most shocking, crimes that had hit Los Angeles. The people who were killed were famous.
But Manson won't do the killing. His girls will murder under his evil influence.
You round people up. You come with me.
With the help of fellow cult member Tex Watson. Tex is a college football star. Tonight, in a mansion high in the Hollywood Hills, he's the devil. Susan Atkins and Patricia Krenwinkel are the devil's helpers, eager to kill 5 famous strangers.
Sharon Tate was a beautiful and famous actress, wife of director Roman Polanski. There was Jay Sebring, who was a very famous hairdresser. Abigail Folger, who was an heiress to a coffee fortune.
For the victims, it's a night of unimaginable horror. At the hands of Manson's followers. Patricia wasn't born bad, just vulnerable. Manson molds her into a cold-hearted killer.
Patricia Krenwinkel said that she chased down Abigail Folger on the lawn of the house. Patricia, who had a knife and who ultimately stabbed her to death.
Susan saves actress Sharon Tate to last.
It was quite chilling, quite unbelievable.
No, baby, no.
She told of Sharon Tate pleading for her baby's life.
No, I'm not gonna give you any mercy, bitch!
And said that she told her, shut up, I don't want to hear about it.
Finally, using Sharon Tate's own blood, Susan scrawls the word pig. The Tate murders are part of Manson's insane prophecy. Helter Skelter.
Helter Skelter was basically a race war between blacks and whites in the United States. Charlie felt that whoever won, he was going to be the leader.
But it wasn't happening fast enough for him. So he instructed his followers to go into these affluent neighborhoods and murder these people.
The night after the Tate killings, Manson wants to murder again. Yet another young woman will help him. 19-year-old Leslie Van Houten, a little girl lost.
Leslie Van Houten was the most unlikely Manson family member. Leslie was very beautiful. She was a homecoming princess in her hometown of Monrovia. And she would have been something wonderful had she not gotten into drugs.
Leslie played a very active part in the murder at the LaBianca home.
Manson and Tex Watson have tied up the victims. Supermarket owner Lino LaBianca and his wife, Rosemary. Manson wants to trigger a race war by making it appear that African Americans are slaughtering wealthy white victims. Tex and the girls fulfill his evil plan. Leslie Van Houten, homecoming queen, helps stab Rosemary to death.
She talks about stabbing Rosemary, but doesn't really seem to accept the responsibility for the death. Sort of Rosemary was dead, and I just kind of did it. Rosemary was stabbed dozens of times.
Let's go. Come on.
The word war is carved into Lino LaBianca's flesh.
It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous.
Once again, bloody words are smeared to spark a race war. But helter-skelter never eventuates. Manson's madness is ended by a prison boast. Jailed for another crime, Susan Atkins can't keep quiet about her part in the killings.
She was in jail on another charge, and she bragged to her cellmate about the murder she'd been involved in. This boastfulness actually broke open the entire case.
Charles Manson and his followers are charged with murder over the Tate and LaBianca killings.
When he was on the stand, he said that he had learned something important in prison. He had learned to tell people what they wanted to hear about themselves. And that was his magic. If you wanted to hear you were beautiful, he told you were beautiful. If he wanted to hear you were smart, he told you were smart. That was how he lured people into his web.
In April 1971, Charles Manson, Leslie Van Houten, Susan Atkins, and Patricia Krenwinkel are sentenced to death.
But the death penalty was outlawed shortly after, and all of the sentences were commuted to life.
Behind bars, the women are finally freed of Manson's mind control.
Well, all of them were remorseful in the end. I think that once they were isolated from Manson, they basically detoxed in prison from this brainwashing they had been under.
It's very sad to see how many lives were wasted, let alone the murder victims. These women are rotting away in prison because they allowed themselves to be influenced by Charles Manson.